and I would like to welcome each and every one of you to week 7, where we'll be discussing leading organizational change. We'll have a focus on change models. We'll look at how resistance impacts change, and of course, how we navigate crisis leadership. At the end of this presentation, you should all be able to articulate change models in respect to healthcare transformation. You should understand how to be productive regardless of resistance from clinical staff, and understand how to implement crisis leadership principles when change is imperative. So the question remains, why is change difficult in healthcare? Well, oftentimes the concern for cost comes up. Specifically in healthcare, we're concerned about errors. We have a very low tolerance for errors in the healthcare sector. So these two factors play an integral role when it comes to um, effecting change. We may have concerns for an influx in documentation by a physician. No one likes a whole lot of paperwork. There may be new tools, for example, a healthcare record system or a new computer software that requires time, effort, and focus to actually learn those new tools and implement them properly. And most importantly, how much time do physicians have with their patients? Um, as a physician, you may want to have more time with your patients in order to have the most or the most impact in regards to helping them uh, on the road to recovery. Okay. Change can be perceived as being misaligned with professional values of healing. So that speaks for itself. So we're going to use hand hygiene and bedside handoffs as a pilot to bring into focus this concept that we're talking about here today. So for instance, leaders focus on concerns about standardization and bedside shift reports. Standardization in regards to how much time is spent with the patient. How well is it done in terms of efficiency? Um, the expertise, is the person carrying out the task skillful enough to get it done according to the protocol of the healthcare organization? As leaders, you must be willing to reframe, meaning that you must standardize processes, for example, bedside reports, to support consistent quality and patient interaction. Okay. So which means you need to have standard operating instructions. So everything is done the same way every time, and the standard is uniform throughout. Once values are synchronized, teams work on realistic barriers, example, handling sleeping patients and workflow adjustments. Okay, so everyone is on the same page. Everyone knows what the expectations are. However, when change needs to be put into effect, you may have resistance. But being able to recognize resistance is most important. For instance, if there is a conflict in value, you may see you may be faced with quality versus finance. You concern more about how much something costs versus how well is it done? What's the quality of the outcome? Or protocols versus autonomy. You may have workflow concerns. How much time does it take? Is the individual putting enough effort? Are they being efficient in terms of getting things done? Where you have power norm concerns, um, are the individuals willing to speak up across hierarchy? All these things have to be taken into consideration and one should, as a leader, should be able to recognize those factors. However, these points of resistance should always be met or be seen as a diagnostic